John DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones and get away. Night of Demos, John DeSando on the radio.
This special edition of Cinema Classics celebrates Ohio Goes to the Movies, a signature event of America 250 Ohio, and is co-produced by John DeSando and Mary Yerina, and hosted by Mary Yerina. Listen to shows Thursday at 8:01 p.m. on WCBE 90.5 FM, and listen to shows and read reviews online at wcbe.org.
I'm Mary Yerina,
And I'm Molly Kruzman.
and this is Cinema Classics. Molly, we've chosen a film that might not be an obvious Ohio connection to most people, and it's The Social Network. Can you tell us the plot and what's the Ohio connection?
Well, the plot is about the beginning of Facebook, and boy, rewatching that movie did it make me antsy, which means our connection did his job correctly. Our connection is that Trent Renzer and his partner did the score for the film, and so that is our Ohio connection to the social media, or the social connection.
Well, and I agree with you about being a little anxious revisiting this film. It was made in 2010. When you think about 16 years later where social media has gone and has taken us, reflecting back on its founding moments, it was already in play, but Facebook really shifted it. And I was watching Jesse Eisenberg plays
Who's brilliant.
Mark Zuckerberg in this film, and you're watching him, one, be a genius programmer, but then also creating for the sake of creating and not necessarily thinking through the ramifications of what he's creating. And so you see this initial project called Face Smash,
Right.
where they're ranking girls on the campus of Harvard, and it goes viral within a night on campus, and that became a little disturbing and also a sad commentary on how the internet and social media has made people in their anonymity feel like they can be cruel and
It's
judgmental.
true. You know, what for me, there were a whole variety of things that sort of I just felt angsty watching it, which means, again, it was so well done. So first of all, you understand that the Zuckerberg character, real life person, his social skills are not terrific, to say the least. Pretty sure he's on the spectrum somewhere. He's brilliant, but he doesn't read social cues well. He doesn't, understand how to have just a conversation. And when he gets burned by the young woman at the beginning and he posts about her all kinds of awful things, he doesn't think through the ramifications of what he's doing. He rarely thinks beyond just, I have to create this, I have to create this, I have to create this. And he's brilliant enough that he can argue his case, but boy, it's hard to feel empathy for that character. It's tough. And so, I hate to say we know things like ranking people goes on, but we do know this goes on. However, this just made it so public. And to your point, exactly, the internet gave something for people to hide behind so they could say the meanest, nastiest things without having to take personal responsibility for it.
Exactly. And that's kind of the takeaway for me about just reflecting back on this time, in the 2000s when all of this was exploding, and that there were no guardrails, and it elevated some of our worst instincts as human beings to just be very reactionary, and you see it play out in the creation of the social network, which became Facebook.
Right.
And the film is constructed in an interesting way. is told almost through flashbacks because
Mm-hmm.
Zuckerberg has created the company. He got investors in California, having left Harvard, to really elevate it and expand into outside the Ivy League and to other and even international colleges and universities before it went just everywhere. And he may have stolen the idea from two classmen, the Winklevoss twins.
Right.
He may have totally sold out his best friend who helped fund the original,
thing. Yeah.
basically the original creation for the servers and the coders, and was the original CFO for the company. And so you see these dual lawsuits against him playing out in different depositions, and then you go to flashbacks of how each of them are answering the questions, and that's how you kind of piece this story together. And to Aaron Sorkin's credit, who he brilliantly adapted the draft of The Accidental Billionaires, the novel upon which this was based, he didn't pass any judgment on who was right, who was wrong. You're just told these different perspectives and the story through these different perspectives of how this all happened. And it really becomes a tale of friendship, loyalty, creation of intellectual property, and just all these different things rolled into one.
Well, and interestingly enough, also with the twins, they don't go after him right away because they say, well, that's not the Harvard way. We don't just go after each other. There's a certain code of ethics for the Harvard man, which also is ironic because they're also, again, grading women on looks. So that's kind of fascinating.
Not to mention the debauchery of the Phoenix Club party that we see.
Right. But it is. There's all these juxtapositions. They're young men. They're mostly young men with money. Again, Zuckerberg doesn't have money per se. So then he's an outsider in a lot of different ways, which fuels him in a sense because he wants to be an insider.
Yes.
He wants desperately to be an insider. And this is sort of his way in. Now, one of the other things I thought about, and you're absolutely right, that this brought out a lot of our worst traits. Interestingly, Facebook also has done some really amazing things, like in the Middle Eastern Spring, as it were. If you remember, there were ways for people to talk around the world and to come together on things. And it will be interesting to see how this continues to play out over time. But I was remembering back, and I don't know if you'll recall this, but Ashton Kutcher, the actor, wanted to be the first one to have 1 million likes on Facebook.
I don't remember that.
It was a really, really big deal, and it was early on, and I think he probably really helped make it as popular as it is. And I thought about, and I forgot to Google where he is now with how many likes he has, but I remember it was a big deal, and everybody sort of wanted to be involved because it was Ashton and, all this.
Well, maybe you should send him a friend request if you have a Facebook profile.
I possibly should and say, hey, how's it going?
How's it going? Just check it in.
Have you watched the movie recently? What do you think?
The other thing that I thought was really quite telling about the film was that they do tell you how it ended. So you have these two different lawsuits. You have Mark Zuckerberg being very, to your point, out of touch socially, not reading social clues, even during a very serious deposition. And we have Rashida Jones playing Marilyn Delpy as the young lawyer who's also an expert in reading juries, and that's why she's on his team. And one of the final scenes, she basically says to him, "You're gonna lose." it's my job to tell you how jurors will react, and you're going to lose.
And you're going to lose.
And she said, settle. And
Yeah.
so we do see ultimately that Mark Zuckerberg settled with the Winklevoss twins
Yes.
for $65 million and a non-disclosure
Yep.
agreement, an NDA.
Yep.
We don't know what the settlement amount was for Eduardo Severin, his
Although they
former
put him
friend.
back on the masthead.
They did put him back on
Yeah.
the masthead. They'd originally dropped him as a co-founder,
Yeah.
and it's an undisclosed amount plus an NDA.
Right.
Interestingly, this is definitely a dramatization
Mhm.
of these real life people.
Mhm.
Only Eduardo spoke with the author of the book. And
I didn't know that.
Aaron Sorkin
Oh.
never interviewed any of the
Like
real
he wanted to stay
people.
sort of clean.
I think he wanted to not be influenced
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
the real people
Yeah.
because he took the essence of what their story was and wanted to dramatize it.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg very famously has said, I didn't create Face Mash to get back at girls or to get a girl. I was actually working on coding. I was dating somebody very seriously, and he goes, I was interested in the creation of it. He goes, that's not me.
Yeah.
So, we have this wonderful story, and it really does make you reflect on not only the themes of loyalty, friendship, greed, class issues, but it makes you reflect on social media itself.
Yeah.
And where it's taken us. And it's a rather timely discussion about this, and we'll talk a little bit more about Trent Reznor when we go on, but I found out that there's a sequel to this film coming out.
Oh yes, maybe
The
I
Social
did.
Reckoning. It's being written, co-produced, and directed by Aaron Sorkin. And it dramatizes the 2021 Facebook leak by whistleblowers Frances Hagan and Jeff Horowitz.
Oh, that's right.
And believe it or not, it's coming out this fall. In October, it's
Oh,
scheduled
my-
for
we're gonna have to
release.
go.
We are.
Yes.
We are. So anyway, we have something to look forward to, and we'll definitely be looking forward to talking more about the Ohio Connection, Trent Reznor, on our podcast, Double Take.
You want to ask her?
Oh, sure. And Molly, before we sign off and move on to Double Take, what do you recommend to our audience about the Social Network? Should they see it?
I think you should absolutely see it. I think it's absolutely worth viewing right now as an opportunity to think about where it started and where we are, and to make your own decisions about that.
I agree.
I'm John DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones and get away. Night or day, it's John DeSando on the radio. We'll watch the credits from up